So this is a really popular release aid we're going to look at today, and it's the Scott Pursuit release aid. So this is a thumb button style release. So we anchor against our jaw and press this trigger here to fire. So what we find is most people, when they're starting off in compound and they're trying to keep the budget fairly low, would start with something like a True Fire Patriot or a True Ball, like basic wrist strap style release, like an index finger style release. These are really, really good to start with, but we have spoken about in an earlier video the difference between them and the benefits from going to a wrist strap to a thumb button style like this. People that are fairly serious about shooting and get into it, after a couple of months will come back and most of the time upgrade to something like this as their first thumb button style trigger. So the good thing about the Scott is if you've never shot a thumb button before, you've got a lot of adjustment. So from a hunting perspective, you've got this little strap here, which is very, very, very handy. I used to use a Longhorn hinge release without a strap, and the amount of times I dropped it, I was very, very lucky that I actually found it again, and then moved to something like this just to be safe that I'm not worrying about, dropping my release or not having it when I need it. There's been other times when I've gone out in the bush and I've taken my backpack and my release is actually still in the car, and I've walked for ages, and if I needed to take a shot to get my release out, I didn't even have it with me because I just hadn't even thought about it. Whereas on this strap here, it's attached to your wrist, it's hanging there, it's ready to go, there's no stress about losing it. If you don't like that, you can also take that out if you're going to be using this for target. So it's quite easy to adjust that. You can just pull it out of this little lock in the back here. You've got a lot of adjustment within the release, like we were saying earlier. So it comes with 3 finger, but also comes with a 4 finger post you can screw onto the back too. So it gives you the option to shoot both a 3 and a 4, which again, if you're buying your first release aid in the thumb button style and you're not sure what you like, this gives you kind of 2 in the 1. So it saves you second guessing yourself if you're thinking, oh, maybe I'd be better, with a 3 finger or a 4 finger release and buying another one later. You can kind of do both of them off the same platform. You can also unscrew that 3 finger position and shoot it as a 2 finger as well. So you've got a lot of different options within this release. You can adjust the travel and the trigger with this little grub screw at the back here, and you can actually change where the trigger's positioned. So you can move that backwards or forwards as well. So you've got a lot of adjustment in there, which again is what you want if this is your first thumb button, you're not sure what style you like, you kind of get it all with this one. To load, it's pretty simple. You've got this little jaw here, push that jaw closed onto your D-loop, and then at the back here is this button you press to lock it in place. And then obviously we just press that button there to loosen up the hook. So a really good starting release aid, a whole lot of adjustment in it. I really recommend this to people looking for the first thumb button style without spending $300, $400 on a release. I believe these retail for $250 Australian dollars. It's not American dollars, it's Australian dollars. So they're not cheap, but they're a good kind of mid-range starting release. It gives you a lot of different options. And then if you decide, look, I really love a 3 finger or a 4 finger, but I want something with more adjustment or deeper finger bears or slightly longer, then you can kind of get your forever release later on once you know what style you like. So that was the Scott Pursuit release aid, and it is available at elizaarchery.com.